I'm Daniela from the implementation team here at Pipefy, and in this video I'm going to show how you can work with field conditionals. So what exactly are field conditionals? Basically, it's a rule that you're going to set up based on a field. It's going to make another field show up or hide, depending on the rule that you just set up inside the platform. So just a quick example. Let's say you have an accounts payable process. In the approval phase, we're going to need to approve this payment. So basically I can say, yes, it was approved after analyzing, or I can say, no, it wasn't approved. And then it's going to pop up a box telling me to specify why I didn't approve this payment. Another good example. Let me take another card. Here I have one person that needs to approve this payment. But let's say, depending on the value of this request, I need a second approver. So let's say here on the amount due, I have 6,000. That's the request. I'm going to save. You're going to notice that a second approver field shows up, and you need to select who is the second approver, depending if it's the value is bigger than 5,000, for example. Another quick example, let's say that I have an expense reimbursement process, and here on my start form, I can select what's my department. So let's say it can be accounting, finance, IT, marketing, and that's all good. I keep filling in my start form. But let's say that I just clicked on other. It's going to pop up another field telling me to specify what's the other department that I just selected. That's really good because we can make a form a lot shorter. It's going to be faster to fill in, and the fields will only pop up when it makes sense. So also we don't need to make a bunch of general fields. Just a quick example. Let's say here on what's your department, I could have just a short text field and the person could type in it. I could type in, for example, human resources, but another person could type in HR, for example. And that's going to be a lot harder later on to filter on our reports and have data about our process. So it's really good if you can have very specific fields that the person can select the option, for example. Then basically you're closing the options, you're just giving a field. But also you don't want to make a really hard and long process for the people to fill in if it doesn't make sense for them. So that's why it's good, the field conditionals, so you can make this field show up only when it makes sense. For example, in this case also, this is the only mandatory field. So if I try to create this card, it's not going to let me because I need to type in a department. But once I select another department that this field doesn't show up, I'm able to create this card. So that field that it was mandatory, it's only going to be mandatory once it shows up. When it's hidden, it's not going to be mandatory anymore. So basically how you can set up the field conditionals. Basically, I'm going to click on the card and I'm going to search for the three dots on the right corner. And then I'm going to go to set up field conditionals. Here is going to pop up the conditionals I already have in my process and the option to create a new one. In this process, that is the reimbursement process, this is the conditional we already have. So basically what I said, what's your department? When it's not equal to other, I'm going to hide that field department that you can type in what's your department. And then if this is false, that means that if it's equal to other, it's going to show up that field that you can type in what's your department. Other example, let's go back to the accounts payable process. If I wanted to create in any other phase or in my start form, they all have the three dots on the right corner. So I can just click on it and click on set up field conditionals. Here is going to show up the conditionals I already have. So just an example, the conditionals I showed you that if you click on no, it's going to pop up the box so you can describe why you didn't approve that request. That's the conditional. Basically what I said, when expense approved for the payment is blank, or when that field is equal to yes, I'm gonna hide that field details. What I could do it differently. I could basically say if the approval was different than no, it would hide these fields. Basically, the fields, they are divided by phases. So here, expense approved for the payment. If I say it's not equal to no, it's gonna hide the details. Or if it's false, so if it is equal to no, it's gonna show the details field. And I'm gonna save. And then click on done. Same thing for the other phase. We always gonna click on that card on the three dots on the right corner and set up field conditionals. It's always gonna show the conditionals we already have and the conditional you wanna set up. And then we click on that. I hope this video was helpful and I hope you guys keep watching the next ones. Thank you.